Hello readers! Y'all ready for another book review by an Indigenous author? Yay! I hope so, because this book was excellent. So today I will be reviewing Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. So let's get to it. Happy greetings and welcomes everyone. Vitsoavek, come in, welcome, Visalge, sit down. My name is Kim and this is my channel, Native Lady Book Warrior. New and familiar welcomes to everyone. I am racing, people, racing to get these TBRs finished. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I keep thinking, you can do it, Kim. Nohong vita, Kim, you can do it. But work has been so busy, crazy busy. But we're going to see if I can do it. But if not, then I'll probably be pushing those native reads, indigenous reads to INDIGATHON. Oh, that reminds me, quick announcement. Brody and Michelle's INDIGATHON is coming in less than a week. Crazy, right? November is almost here. Native American Heritage Month is almost here. It's like right on the horizon. You can see it from here. I will be sharing their videos, their content, and where you could find those Twitter and IG, Instagram feeds for the prompts and everything. So go check those out. So trigger warning for violence, animal death, bullying of a child with mental cognitive disorder or condition. Also, another warning for violence against children. And lastly, death and grieving for a deceased parent. Okay, today, like I said before, I will be reviewing Stephen Graham Jones' Mapping the Interior. Okay, so Stephen Graham Jones is a Blackfeet native, and this is his third book that I am honored to review and to read. I am really enjoying Stephen Graham Jones's work. With this book, I'm experiencing also a really cool overlap of young boys coming of age story, and that I also enjoyed. Well, they're not connected, but I also enjoyed a really cool coming of age story with mongrels. So that's pretty awesome. Really cool transition to this one. This novella is almost 100 pages. And let's appreciate the cover, people. Whoa. So when I was purchasing this book, I didn't take a really good look at the cover until it came in. And on the front, you can see here, I believe that's Junior. But you can also see his dad right here. Right? That is pretty cool. And he's dressed as a fancy dancer. You can see his beaded headband right here, his quill, porcupine quill headdress. And yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I think this is probably a mirror right there in the middle of that beaded headband because it looks pretty bright and it's circular. Pretty beautiful. Really cool stuff. Mapping the Interior is a really cool, weird, horrific, almost psychological thriller. Yeah, this book is just crossing into all kinds of genres. I don't have like a big library on horror reads, but Jones is definitely an original and crossing those lines into different genres. And I am loving it. And this book is undeniably horrifying. So this book starts out with a young native boy by the name of Junior who lives with his family, a little brother named Dino, and his mother. Junior is suddenly reacquainted with his dead father in the spookiest of ways after one night Junior believes that he is sleepwalking. So I'm going to read a page, and I promise it's not spoilery. It's like the first and second page of the book. To sleepwalk is to be inhabited, yes, but not by something else so much. What you're inhabited by, what's kicking one foot in front of the other, it's yourself. It doesn't make sense, but I don't think it's under any real compulsion to, finally. If anything, being inhabited by yourself like that, what it tells you is that there is a real you squirming down inside of you, trying all through the day to pull up to the first surface. Look out. But it can only get that done when your defenses are down, when you're sleeping. Pretty beautiful, right? And I thought about that first really cool introduction of that page into this book, because you're thinking, oh, is this going to be one of those stories where he thinks he's seeing things, or maybe he isn't? But anyway, the entire time of this book, I felt like I was in this kid's head, a real kid's head. The voice, the reasoning, the questioning, that imaginative view on things, and almost that self-explanation and self-dialogue that happens in this book is confusing. But it's also like you don't almost believe this kid. And I think it's because when you dig and are in the mind of someone so young, things can get messy. They can be confusing. They can be puzzling. And ultimately, that's what this story felt like. It felt like all these tangles that you're slowly unknotting, but you're also experiencing like the horror behind this young boy's eyes. Junior and his family are going through some seriously rough times, and Jones brings all of that out so wonderfully. Junior's brother Dino has a mental or developmental condition, and they are no longer on the reservation. They are away from it, and therefore away from family support, I imagine, away from friends. Dino, he gets picked on. He gets bullied. They're struggling financially. Junior is coming to terms with his father's absence, whose death is still unexplained. And all of this is really adding on to this whole weight of what is happening in this story. Stephen Graham Jones paints a really great pictures of possible real struggles that Native people may face. And it's not stereotypical. It's explored really well, especially when the protagonist remembers all of these stories and memories of his father. And those authentic memories and the observation from a 12-year-old Native kid were really powerful, and they hit me hard like this stinging, cold, icy splash of water to the face. This ghost story mystery is strong, and it's a powerful journey where Junior explores loss and heartache and grief and familial hardship, all the while he is safeguarding his loved ones and tackling issues of his simultaneous current reality. When I think about this story, I thought about how our past can follow us and even hurt us, but also how easy and crappy it would be to repeat those cycles of hurt, even though we fight like hell to make sure that they don't get repeated. And then also that torture, that self-torture we submit ourselves to with the what could have beens or the what shouldn't have beens. This story, it disturbed me. I'm just gonna lay it out there. It disturbed me. Its surprising twists and turns, that subtle, slow burn plot unsettled me. It broke my heart. And after I was done reading it, I thought, what the heck did I just read? And this story is only 100 pages, people, and it's burned into my brain. It's melting it right now. Stephen Graham Jones, he grabs you at the beginning of this story, and that story plants this seed in your mind, and it's growing into this tree, and it's a beautiful tree. It's a dark tree, but simultaneously, those roots of that tree are getting deeper and deeper, and you are willing to give this tree water. You're feeding it, you're giving it time, you're giving it your attention, and then suddenly this tree turns into this scary, eerie, disturbing, tragic beast. And even though you cut at that trunk, you still have these roots stuck in you. And I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what it felt like reading this book. Or I guess that's kind of what it feels like reading any Stephen Graham Jones book or story. It's human and it's horrific, and it's a story that you care about. He creates characters you care about, and it gets under your skin. And it can likely, this is me personally, it shatter your emotional stability. But those are the best kinds of stories, right? Stories that make you feel, that make you think, and bring out feelings and emotions that may be uncomfortable and that you don't likely want, but they are also lovely and they're complex. I really enjoyed that about this book, how it made me feel things that were put me in this corner where I was like ready to fight my way out of. But then he kind of leads you into this other area. It's really interesting, and I don't want to give any more of this book away, so I'm gonna rate it, and I rated this story 4.75 stars. So I guess you can round that up to a 5, but it's just because there's so much packed into this story. This book is dense, it is thick, it is heavy, and on a personal note, this book gave me nightmares. I not right now, I'm not gonna share specifically what those nightmares were, but they were pretty gruesome. But I think this story, it takes place in a reality that I could see, a reality that I could feel, and even on some levels relate to. And the color of the characters themselves and their experiences, and me mentally witnessing but also suffering right along with them. I feel like when I'm reading his stuff, it feels like a partnership. Like I'm creating this mental partnership with the characters, and it's intimate. I want to own the rest of Jones's work. I'm already kind of like, oh, I'm gonna put all his books here. I'm just loving everything that I'm reading of his. So, okay, I am done with this review. So leave me a comment if you have read any other works by Stephen Graham Jones, or maybe name like 1 or 2 books that you would like to read. And I'm also going to be posting a discussion for this review, or for this book, if you have already read it. So check that out if you feel like it. And also, don't forget about INDIGATHON, right? You can get your TBRs going, and so I'm excited for that too. So until next time, I shall see you guys later. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are doing well, and I shall see you soon. Bye.